Hey everyone, Instructor Cory here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're just going to cover some motorcycle crash reviews. So we're going to try and break this up, maybe do like 1, 2, maybe 3 crash reviews, looking at one of these Moto Madness videos on YouTube. We're going to try and analyze what's going on, hopefully educate some viewers, teach people something, some things to look out for. Personally, I think watching motorcycle crashes and these type of videos with riders making mistakes, that beginners and other riders can definitely learn from those mistakes. We might not be able to analyze exactly what went wrong just by watching a video, but we can still start to look for patterns as far as hazards, threats, being aware, analyzing what's going on, identifying specific hazards and threats up ahead, learning how to adjust, and maybe some obvious things not to do that could result in a crash or injury or fatality. You guys can also check out my website here if you haven't already, www.instructorcory.com. I have links to some training drills, my shop with some merch on there if you're interested in helping support the channel. You can also donate to Instructor Val's medical funds. There's a link on there to the PayPal donation page. There's also some testimonials from my students. So I do a lot of teaching and have some student testimonials on there. So if you're interested in getting a lesson from me or coming and training with me at some point, you can check out those testimonials and see what other people had to say about me, and then make up your mind if you think I'm worth your time or not. Also, contact information, any ways to get a hold of me. You can always reach out to me here on YouTube, get a hold of me on Facebook, or email me. I think my email is on the YouTube page. If you want to reach out and contact me, you can get a hold of me for private lessons, stuff like that, or just information on how to sign up for a class or anything else. I'm always here to help you guys, so don't hesitate to reach out to me. I love to hear from you if you have any questions, okay? All right, so now we're going to go ahead and jump right in. This is, I think, the newest Moto Madness video that just came out. They're calling them lane split regrets. So let's go ahead and hop in here and see if we can learn anything. Let's give it a shot.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Definition of a motorcyclist: a person willing to take a container of flammable liquid, place it on top of a hot-moving engine, and then put the whole lot between their legs. These are their stories.
So already off to a great start.
Riding in wet conditions. Think twice and save your life.
So already got some,
As this
you know,
biker found out
wet
the hard way,
roads.
always be wary of painted road markings when conditions are wet.
Yeah, the wet and that paint definitely going to mix and become very slick. Now he's trying to accelerate pretty aggressively and pass all these other motorists. There you go. That's the result. So I'm going to try to go through these with minimal pausing so we can just keep the action moving. So notice here a little slow-mo replay. As soon as his back tire crossed over that wet paint, you could see that back tire started slipping. It was a loss of traction, and then the continued acceleration
The biker gets back up unharmed,
caused that bike to dump
no
it.
doubt a hard lesson is learned. The bike sustained cosmetic damages only and was able to be ridden 850 kilometers home to complete
Like
his
a Honda
trip.
Grom or
In
something.
this instance, the
Notice
biker
all that
was
gear he was wearing.
impatient
That's the
and
only
very
reason he was able to get up from that.
He attempted to perform a lane split between a large semi-trailer and a Tesla, but was too focused on the semi-trailer. As it slowed down, biker did not react by braking, but instead swerving, at which point motorcycle and Tesla collide.
Yeah, so it looks like the Tesla is the one with the camera hooked up to it.
Amazingly, he rolls it out and only sustains some light road rash to his back.
Now look how lucky this guy is, tumbling across the ground on the highway. I don't know the rate of speed here, let's say 50, 60 miles per hour on a typical highway. At any point, this rider could have went right underneath any of these wheels of this tractor trailer, like his bike is skidding over there going underneath the wheels just about. If any of these wheels are running you over, this big heavy tractor trailer, think of the amount of injuries you're going to sustain from that, let alone just the fall and the tumbling on the road at 60 miles an hour. It's not going to be good. You're going to be lucky to walk away. The only way you're going to have a chance to walk away is if you're fully geared up. Even then, you can make a mistake. Even then, you can get injured. If you're not wearing all this gear, you're not going to have a chance to learn a lesson here. You're not going to survive it. And if you do, you're going to be hardcore crippled and probably never ride again. maybe not even walk again, right? So just understand how lucky this guy is. There's no skill involved here. This was a stupid crash, no reason for this in the first place, and how lucky they are to walk away from this, and it happened in an instant, right?
A jammed shoulder and wrist. Although the same can't be said for the bike, so
Yeah.
much more could have gone wrong.
And the bike is totaled, and that's
The
what
biker
really
was
makes me
thanking his
sad.
lucky stars later that day. DR Doctor notes there was around half an inch of gravel on the road after a recent hurricane in California.
Patch of gravel, it says. Yeah.
In places where there is not a lot of regular rainfall, the road design and infrastructure may leave a ton of debris or gravel, which isn't easily seen as it's originally part of the road, something all bikers need to be aware of. Too fast for the corner and the biker.
So now one, right? We it's hard to see. They say you can't really see the gravel, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if there's gravel on the road. There's gravel always on the road, everywhere you ride, right? The point is you need to learn the skills to be able to ride over top of that gravel without dumping your motorcycle and having it be an issue, okay? There's always going to be debris or some crap on the road. No road is going to be in perfect condition ever. So learn how to just hold a nice steady throttle, minimize your lean angle so you're not leaned over so much. That'll give you more traction. If you're at an aggressive lean angle, if you're giving it throttle too aggressively as you're going through the turn over top of that gravel, those are the things that's going to cause you to lose that traction, to have the bike slide out, to dump it. And in this case, my first impression, just on a quick one-shot look at it, it looked like maybe that back end started to just slip a tiny touch. Maybe the biker panic braked, grabbed that front brake, the bars are slightly turned, boom, the bike dumps, right? That's more often than not the case. If you would have just rode it out and that back tire slipped a little bit and then regained traction, you continue on your way. So think about a nice, smooth, steady throttle, consistent, steady speed, minimize your lean angle, head and eyes up, looking where you want to go. Don't grab your front brake, don't panic, just continue on and go practice these skills so you know how to do this stuff in the first place, right?
Down.
Looks like this one's from Brody Rowe. Doing about 75 miles an hour with him and his buddy. Bring the mattress, they said.
Everything was okay with the duo picking up the bike and continuing on their ride.
So I doubt the speed limit on that road was 75 miles per hour plus, but him and his buddy were out there ripping. It looks like the rider in front just target fixated, going too fast. They were very mild little turns. There's no reason they should have ran off the road. So it's an ineffective steering input, ineffective counter steering, not knowing how to push properly on your motorcycle, not turning your head, looking through your turn where you want to go, coming into it too fast, not setting up in the right position ahead of time, slowing down, preparing yourself for the turn in advance. Then you would just cruise through that turn no problem every single time. So I'm a firm believer that a lot of these clips that we have the pleasure of seeing from Moto Madness are usually the motorcyclists just not knowing how to properly ride their machine. Okay, let's check out this one. So already we're on a very narrow path here.
The best places to enjoy.
We have a bunch of bikers really stacked up on top of each other.
Within your limits.
It sounds like they're laughing, having a good time, but notice how close they are to each other.
Unharmed.
Okay, coming around some turns. So once again, what happened right there? Biker came around that like real tight turn and then just started accelerating throttle up the hill and just crossed right over. Maybe a lack of paying attention, just got too close to the edge of the road. So especially on this road, it's like a one-lane road, so you have all of these lane positions available to you, so you can choose over here to the outside. In this case, this would be like the inside off the edge of the road, outside, middle, or whatever, right? It looks like they came around that turn, he just accelerated and drifted right over and caught the edge here and dumped it, went flying off. If this was a big old cliff drop right here, this would kill you, right? Maybe you fall 1,000 feet down a cliff, tumbling down the rocks, and your machine's coming down, crashing on top of you. This is not what you want. So there's no reason not to be reducing your speed using the middle of this nice road here, or even hugging this far edge over here, we can call this the inside in this case, this being the outside. If the inside is just kind of a wall and some trees here, then that's a much safer place to be. If the outside is a big old hill and a potential cliff drop and a bunch of issues, right? If you dump it over on this side, you just fall into the rocks a little bit, maybe. But if you fall off this side, it's maybe a much bigger issue. So take that into consideration when choosing your lane positioning, where you want to be. If it's all sketchy everywhere, if there's threats on all sides, then choose the lesser damage, the lesser threat, the lesser evil, what have you, right? Which one's going to have less chance of getting you killed? And with this group in particular, you want way more space cushion, and they're just out having fun, but you can do this a lot more responsibly and not have this issue.
Biker was on a group ride when he arrived at the crash scene of one of the riders. The crashed
Coffee
bike was
boy.
brand new and in one ride totally destroyed.
It's a pretty view they got here.
Incident are limited, but it's understood the owner of the bike came around a turn too fast and did not brake in time, with his front wheel washing out over the.
Notice this rider who were on board with the GoPro almost crashed just coming into a stop right there to park with these other bikes that are already on the side of the road. So this is an example of that high stress. Dan the fireman talks about this. He's already stressed out. He's already freaking out. His muscles, his body isn't responding that properly, and maybe he's just in this heightened state, kind of the brown stage. I think Dan talks about pooping his pants kind of thing, freaking out, panicking. Uh-oh, somebody crashed. Maybe it's a close friend of theirs, but don't make someone else's emergency your emergency, right?
White line. Both bike and biker went flying off in different directions. It's understood the rider ended up in hospital in a bad way.
Where is he? Nice. Oh man.
This guy went way down in the trees in the creek. Wow. Holy crap. Pieces of his bike everywhere.
The rider who captured this footage has chosen only to show a limited amount of it, but his message is clear. Riding with friends or in a group is meant to be about having some fun, and that's it. You're not there to prove who's the best, fastest, or show off, and you should be riding within your ability. He's seeing way too many new riders buying very fast bikes with no experience at all. He also said, group rides should begin with a safety briefing, so everybody is on the same page and level-headed.
Yeah. And you can hear the stress in his breathing, right? Very labored and stuff. In that last one, definitely looked like a big hardcore scene. They said it was a kind of a newer rider, just got a brand new bike, maybe too much power, and out there with a bunch of friends. Everybody's ripping down them roads. I'm sure everybody was speeding and not riding very responsibly. And it looked like, it's usually the same instance every one of these occasions. The turns aren't anything special, right? They're very mild little turns. There's no reason for this. But when you're doing 100 miles an hour plus, suddenly those very mild little turns become a much bigger deal. And these motorcycle riders who are either new or inexperienced or don't have much training, now all of a sudden this mild little turn at 100 miles an hour becomes a big issue. They're trying to counter steer. They're trying to look. They're not looking far enough. They're not sure where to look. They're not sure how to counter steer. All of a sudden they're going off the edge of the road. Now they start panicking, target fixating on the edge of the road instead of looking where they should be trying to go, which is stay on the road, don't look over here. And next thing you know, they're going off into the ditch, and it's a big, bad situation. So there's a lot of motorcycle riders dying out here. There's a lot of fatalities going on, and a lot of it is for no good reason other than inexperience and lack of training and lack of gear. So go get some training, watch my videos, watch these, try to educate yourself. We'll try to do a bunch more of these crash reviews to try to help educate new riders, what to look for, ways to solve these problems, how to avoid these problems in the first place. If you made it all the way through this video, I'd like you to go back and just pick a few of my videos on my channel, some random ones talking about escape routes or lane positioning or this or that, or even one of my moto vlogs I posted recently. Compare my riding in those videos to the riding that you've just seen in this. The speeds I'm doing, the way I'm behaving with other traffic around me, the way I'm utilizing lane positions and escape routes in the road. notice in my videos there's nothing extreme or exciting happening, and I'm not crashing and exploding my bike to pieces and tumbling across the highway at 60 miles an hour, risking going underneath tractor trailer wheels, right? I'm just cruising along, making it to my destination, making it out to work to train new riders, making it back home in one piece. Everything's all good. Compare that to these videos where almost every biker is crashing and burning and lucky to walk away. Which type of motorcycle rider do you want to be? Do you want to go out for one ride and explode your bike to pieces and be lucky to be alive? Or do you want to continue to ride consistently every day and have a good time doing it and be smart and responsible about it? So to make that decision for yourself, I hope you choose the latter, because then you'll get to have a much longer, better experience riding motorcycles, and that's what I'm all about. And I'm going to be here to help you every step of the way. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Later.